Well, welcome back, everyone, to another podcast episode of Locked In with the Lockrens. I'm Mason Wise. I am heading the podcast table here, and I'm going to go ahead and have everyone introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Jerry Lockren himself.
I'm Jerry Lockren. I'm the owner here at Lockren's Olympic Boxing in London, Kentucky.
I'm Preston Scott. I'm a boxer.
Wyatt Lockren. I am a competitor here at the gym.
My name's Braden, and I'm also a competitor here.
I'm Aiden, and I'm also a boxer here.
And some of you might recognize Braden and Aiden here from last week's episode number 2, joining us again for some extra zesty commentary.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, Mr. Wyatt here, Jerry's son. Always a pleasure to have him on. So, today we're focusing on our guest here, our new guest, Mr. Preston Scott. Preston, you're an accomplished boxer, accomplished Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and give us a little bit more details of that?
I started when I was 4. I got over 40 fights now.
Yeah. And that's 40. So your first actual sanctioned fight, was it kickboxing or was it boxing?
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai?
Yeah.
Muay Thai, okay. And so you had mentioned to me earlier as we were talking that you actually got started in karate.
Yeah.
Mom wanted to get you into something just to go ahead, and I'm sure you were running her wild. My wife's always asking me to get my kids into something to get them out of her hair. Get started in karate, and then you said, a year later, started striking, started getting more combative, and then you got right into Muay Thai after that. How did you know about Muay Thai back then?
Well, I was just kind of doing some kickboxing, and then someone was signed up in Muay Thai, and then we took that.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that really interesting because you're, this would have been 10 years ago, right? Correct? When you got into Muay Thai?
Yeah.
10
around
years ago.
2015, yeah.
Okay, all right, so never mind. Man, I'm old. when I was that age, Muay Thai was barely even a thing, at least in our culture. I forgot I'm old. Muay Thai was definitely a huge thing back in 2014, 2015. But so anyways, you're getting started in Muay Thai, and what really brought you into boxing after that? Most guys that go into Muay Thai and kickboxing, they're just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
What got you into boxing?
I was just looking to spar more kids because we really don't have many kids in Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really it was combative practicing and experience that brought you into boxing.
Yeah.
And there was a new gym that had opened up in Campbellsville, close to where he lives, a new boxing gym. So he kind of fell in with them and started doing some boxing, sparring, training, and then he boxed on our very first show in London, Kentucky, under that club. That would have been the March of 2019. His first boxing match. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And you're going to be competing in nationals this weekend, right? Where's that next?
Yeah,
weekend?
he's actually competed in 3 USA boxing national tournaments. And 2021, he was ranked number 3 in the nation at 11-12. Wow. So now he's in the 15, 16-year-old division, the junior Olympic division. He looks like he's going to be the number 2 seed and probably start boxing on Monday. But before Monday, he's got more business this Saturday I'll let him tell you about.
Let's hear it.
I'm fighting Chris Conway on a Gogi Fight League for the belt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is
Double
a Muay Thai
champion.
match. Double champ.
Yeah, he's already the Aries Fight Series Muay Thai champion, and we're trying to find him an opponent for that for February 21st. We're going to be back at Cotton Eye Joe in Knoxville, so we're trying to find an opponent for that show for him to defend that title. He's fighting Muay Thai this Saturday. That one had been postponed. It's supposed to be in October.
Yeah.
And it got postponed to this Saturday, so he'll fight this Saturday for the Gogi title.
Yeah.
Get up Sunday, drive to Richmond, Virginia for the USA Boxing Nationals, and then start competing as early as Monday.
Busy schedule.
Yeah.
Super busy schedule.
Yeah.
And for those of you that do not know, your last fight in Aries for that title, that ended in a vicious knockout.
Yeah.
It was a front kick right to the chin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna clip that one in and put that in this podcast so that everyone can see what we're talking about here. You don't really see those kind of knockouts in your age group either. You were 14 in that video, and your competitor, your opponent, he was 16?
Yeah, about to turn 17. Yeah.
Man. That guy could not show his face to school if I got beat up by 14 when I was 17.
It's because he's the best.
Yeah, no, I'd be homeschooled after that. Awesome. So, where do you see these matches for the nationals for USA Boxing go? Where are you at? How do you feel? Vicious victory.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's gonna be tough, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But I think I can do really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, we're gonna be rooting for you. Now, your other previous experiences in the USA Nationals, how did you do in those? How did you fare?
Well, my first tournament, I won my first bout by TKO. Yeah.
Was it
And
second round, third round?
Second, wasn't it? Right at the beginning of the second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're the Nationals taking place is in Missouri, right?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond. Oh,
yeah.
Richmond,
So,
Virginia.
yeah,
Okay.
his very first one at 11-12, we're coming off of COVID. So you had all these crazy restrictions. You weren't allowed to get everything flowed one direction in the national tournament. It was wild. Got to wear the mask the whole time. And, he stopped the first kid, advanced to the semifinals, then lost a split decision to the eventual winner. So he ended up ranked number 3rd in the nation there in 21. Then they bumped him up 13, 14-year-old division. The second one he was in that fall, we lost to the kid, ended up runner-up in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And I thought the kid actually got stiffed a little bit in the finals, but, real good kid. I saw him. He had 99 bouts now. The kid you lost to, he's up to 99 bouts. Wow. So I think we've got a real good shot to win this one. We're the number 2 seed out of a field of 6. So he's got a real good. There's one other boxer in there that if they box 10 times, there'd probably be some kind of split. But that's how tournaments go. Can you get through the first one without getting any damage? So how does the draw go? Do you draw the best guy in there the first fight? Do you draw the worst guy? So there's a little bit of luck involved, but with that number 2 seeding, I think that really favors him. And he just boxed Saturday, by the way. So he just boxed 3 days ago.
Yeah. And what was the outcome of that fight?
Unanimous decision victory.
Unanimous
Yeah. Really good kid from Johnson City. Give a shout out. My buddy Scott Vance. Scott's he'd probably be mad at me. I probably minimize. I know he's had 50 national championships.
Wow.
Yeah, really, really good coach. So
Super busy.
Got three full rounds in. No standing 8 counts either way. So really got to test his conditioning. It held up really well. So he's in a great spot. If we can get through Saturday unscathed with no Muay Thai bruises or anything like that, we'll be in good shape.
And for this Muay Thai fight this weekend, do they allow? Is it knees, elbows? It depends by state, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, and it just depends on the promotion.
And so, what's allowed? What's not allowed?
No elbows, no knees to the head, and that's about it.
You can clinch and you can knee to the body, and then the rest of kicking. You're allowed to kick the legs.
Yeah.
And punches.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, where I have to ask everyone this that comes on the podcast. What's the future for you? Where do you see what is your dream for combat?
I'm not really sure yet if I'm gonna do boxing, maybe go to the UFC.
Right.
I'm not really sure yet.
Whatever comes up first.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dana's probably going to be scouting him out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They'll be scouting middle school like basketball, right?
You
Yeah.
just got to make sure you have a good negotiation when you're going with Dana. No 10 for 10. I'm a champ, man.
He could be the next youngest UFC fighter. The youngest is like the Chihuahua guy or something like that.
Yeah, he's 18. Yeah, then
Chihuahua.
Brazilian? Is it Brazilian?
No, he's
Chihuahua.
Mexican.
No, he's
he's
Mexican.
Mexican.
Is he
Yeah.
Latino? Okay.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, his name's Raul, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's it's that junior though. His last name
Raul Jr.
Yeah.
Future fight.
He's like
Preston
19.
Scott
All right.
versus
So
Chihuahua.
let's let him off the hook a little bit and go on. Talk
Yes.
about Braden just boxed Saturday.
Vicious
Okay, so-
knockout. Vicious knockout.
Knocked down. Vicious knocked down.
Knocked down. He got
Yeah.
back up though.
Yeah.
Guy seen stars.
Yeah, I did that.
So walk us through how that unfolded.
So I went in the first round, and Jerry told me to be cautious, and I always try to heed Jerry's advice. But like a minute, 45 seconds in, I dipped my right hand like you're supposed to. I dipped it, and then I came around with the left hook to follow up on it. And and the left hook, it lands perfectly, and he goes down. And you kind of see me in the footage. I kind of look at him, like, you know how like the Ali posters like that, and he's standing over, what's his name, Joe Frazier?
Yeah,
Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston, yeah. He stands up. I was like looking at him, and it kind of reminded me of that moment, but I wasn't like angry towards him. I was kind of just surprised that I hit him that hard. And so
they both threw right hands simultaneously and missed, and then they both were going to throw a left hook. So the opponent's moving in to Braden, and Braden's got a good left hook, and he got there first. You know?
yeah.
And we'll insert the clip right here just to show everyone that. I'll take that
Yeah.
off Facebook and put this on. Put that in this podcast.
Got me a lot of Facebook clout. Yeah.
Yeah.
My family did not care that I boxed until I knocked somebody down.
And we got to give Will Hicks credit.
Will is tough.
Laid flat on his back. I didn't think he was going to get up. Usually you see somebody, they get Jesus crossed on the mat. They don't get up. It's like Tyson Fury, and he got knocked down there in that first fight with Wilder. And he jumped right up.
Yeah, he got back up.
And the guy could punch. So that's why I was telling Bray, hey, you still got to box him. You can't be reckless, because how many guys you see, it's early in the bout. The guy's not tired. He just got clipped, and then they get reckless, and then they run into a big shot.
Yeah.
So.
I got greedy. I was like, TKO. I was like, I wanted my first TKO. I wanted to stop him.
Braden gets another 8 count on him at the conclusion of the first round, and then take us through the second round.
And then I got 8 counted in the second round.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess I got to box him again.
Guy comes out hot, catches him with a good shot,
Yeah.
flurries on him, gets 8 count on Braden.
Yeah, he made me see a little bit of white, but I think I pride myself on being tough. So, and I got back on him.
And
the rest is history.
And that fight ended in the second round, right?
No, it went all three.
It went all three.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
When the opponent there, when he got the 8 count on him, and then he wasn't able to get Braden out there, the conditioning went away from him. So the remainder of the second round and the third round, Braden's pretty much just outboxing him.
It was a pretty entertaining fight.
If I could have had if I had 3 minutes, I could have got him out of there.
That kid is really tough, man, because when I saw that video on Facebook, I'm like, oh, man, this must have ended like the next round.
Right.
Can't believe he went
all three.
The whole three.
Probably that 8 count he received probably prevented him. You know, that's probably why that bout of the night hardware was sitting on Preston's dresser and not Braden's. You know, that one little 8 count. Yeah, so Preston actually got bout of the night, and then Wyatt Probus. They gave 2 bout of the nights out, and Wyatt Probus won the other one.
I was jealous of Wyatt. I was like, oh, it's got to be me. And as Wyatt, I was like, what? And I was like, you know what, fair. You know what, I'll take it. I already had
that point's worth touching on. I usually used to have my very first national champion, Trenora Locke, Team USA. She would always get when she's starting, bout of the night. And I typically don't like getting bout of the night with your boxer, because that means you gave punishment out, but you received punishment. That's the bout the crowd gets into. Now, Preston really didn't receive that much. I probably would have picked Braden's bout, actually, because where it went back and forth. But typically you don't like to see it. It's not a surgical performance. You took damage if you're getting bout of the night. And some people will get where they start taking this pride in getting bout of the night, and they think they're doing good. No, it means you're getting hit a lot usually. Makes sense. You're winning, but you're getting hit a lot.
Well, so overall, you felt really good after that fight, though.
I think I got a concussion after that fight. So I went home and I had a headache. I was like, damn, I have a headache. And so I went to sleep, and it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had we touched on Wyatt Probus, our reigning Southeastern Gold Glove champ. He boxed on that show. Got 2 8 counts on his opponent. He boxed a good kid from YCAP in Chattanooga. Won unanimous decision, so he's 5-0 now. We had Caden came up a little bit short. Caden went on the podcast last week. Caden was 4-0, lost a real close to same gym that Preston boxed there, and dropped a close decision. Good developmental bout for him, though. Good boxer in front of him. And then I'm missing one.
Landon.
Yeah, little Landon Lewis. Yeah, Landon's tougher than a $2 steak. You say. Landon, Joe Smith, that used to be one of the top execs at USA Boxing, and he used to be the guy that opens up a tournament by speaking. Joe looks up at me. He was actually running the show, and Joe says, well, you brought a basketball team, right? Joe's from Chevy. I said, I got one short guy. Landon's like 5'6". had the token short guy. And then Landon was pressure fighter. And
got him out in the second round.
Yeah, he got his guy on the ropes just with pressure and hard shots and got him out there in 2.
He's progressed a lot since I've been here.
I actually, he's one of those kids that, I always say flowers bloom at different times. Just because a flower takes a little longer to bloom doesn't mean that flower won't be beautiful. And Landon, when he first started sparring, he's getting hit. He's getting nose popped. And it just took him a little while to figure it out. Once he figured out exactly who he was, and he's actually got good feet. Like his in and out feinting with his footwork is really good.
He's fast and snappy.
And then when I finally did let him compete his first bout, he really surprised me. He had about as good a first bout as you'll ever see. Good, sharp combinations. So his second bout there Saturday, stopped the guy in 2. I mean, it wasn't the prettiest thing you've ever seen, but, man, he pressure burst pipes. There's a lot of guys that's not going to be able to handle that kind of constant pressure up in your face, put your back on the ropes, and blast you. Yeah, really, really proud of that kid. So
I think he's Boxer of the Year. I'll go ahead and say it.
Ooh.
I'll go ahead and say it.
Not over.
Hot take.
December's not over. We still have one.
I agree with Braden. If I had to give it to someone, I'd give it to Landon.
Well, I can't give a brand new guy like that Boxer of the Year, when you've had 2 bouts. Think about it. So when you think about Boxer of the Year, that's a great question. Let's go around the table. When you think about Boxer of the Year, what are some of the criteria out of a gym for Boxer of the Year? Just give the criteria. How about that?
Most improvement.
How much you've improved.
Yeah.
Sportsmanship.
Sportsmanship. That's a good one.
Your teammates, caring about your teammates, working with them, like not beating up beginners.
Also, if we're getting real technical, fighting style.
Yeah. How technical are you? Are you surgical?
Yeah.
I know I can't win it, but
Right.
I would love to win it.
Now,
But
what criteria
You
for Boxer of the Year out of a boxing gym?
That's my favorite
technical
one.
Skill.
Accomplishments.
Yeah, your
That's a good one.
accomplishments. A big factor is, and that's why I just said can't give it to a level of opposition.
Yeah.
The kid, he just beats a legitimate open class boxer, right?
Why don't you break up the award though?
The kid that Braden just beat, has been boxing for several years. So that's why when I think of Boxer of the Year, and teammate definitely, if the guy comes in here and he's like an army of one and he never encouraging anybody, I'll say this, you hear Landon all the time encouraging people, especially on conditioning day. He's like pushing those teammates to get them another level. So that's part of it. But accomplishments, the level of opposition that you faced and beat, and how you look doing it. When you get to a national tournament, like he may have to box 3 times next week. You've got to be able to win without taking damage. Right. Some of these doctors, they're doctor poor at a national boxing tournament, believe it or not, right? You may have to have half a dozen doctors to put the tournament on. 2 sessions a day. I think next week there's, I want to say over 1,000 athletes. I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So you may get a doctor working your bout that's never worked a combat bout before, and he's very conservative. He's very worried about getting sued. So I've seen doctors stop bouts prematurely. The doctor can stop your bout. I've also seen doctors you won the day before. Shout out Jerry Odom, there from the D.C. Man, he was tough. He'd be losing the whole bout in the last 15 seconds, knock a guy out, right, under the old point system. I've seen a doctor come up at the national final day, and here these 2 guys are getting boxed, 201 national finals, and the doctor say, both of y'all have taken too much punishment this week. It doesn't affect you because you're both medically DQ'd. I'm going to medically DQ both of you. No final. 2 guys sharing the number 1 spot. Right? So you got to be able to get through these tournaments and get through these tournaments defensively as well. So that plays a part in when you're saying outstanding boxer.
Right. That's Boxer of the
Yeah, like
Year.
you look at Wyatt Probus, and I'm not saying Wyatt Probus is not that pick this year, but a lot of his stuff wasn't the prettiest, and like he got dinged up a little bit Saturday, right? It's Southpaw versus Southpaw.
But he is 5-0.
I told him going into he is 5-0 with 3 knockouts. I told him going in the last round, let's do this intelligently, right? I don't want you eating those overhand lefts. Well, he ate 2 or 3 really good overhand lefts, right, and put some marks on him that by the end of a 3 or 4 day tournament, what would that face look like?
Right.
Right, we'd be spending just as much time icing his face down
You guys would be a Mary Kay shopping right there.
Yeah, I'd be putting some makeup on.
See, I personally think that Wyatt should win Boxer of the Year.
Well, what if he wins USA's next week?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, then that's.
Matt, why don't you
It's a
split up the award instead of?
It's a big discussion though.
You hear Braden, right?
Why don't you just split up the award? So instead
he's always jockeying for you to move the end zone line.
Shipped in the goalpost here.
Yeah,
best boxer is a wide margin. I mean,
you touched on that best
fighter,
teammate, most improved.
So how will we do best boxer? We got best puncher and then best brawler.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's the other hard part when you start doing end of the year awards is like somebody that's worked really hard in here all year, no matter how you frame it, is not going to win an award.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't. And what awards do you give out? You know, and the kids already know. You can quiz them and ask them. You know, who's most improved, and 4 out of 5 of them will give you the same name. You know, they already know, and they also know when you give it to somebody it's not merited. Right, and that's a good way to get people laid down.
Yeah, I know how we can pick fighter of the year. We could take one person, take him back to the room, have him write down a piece of paper, put it in a box. Whoever gets the most votes.
I've done that before in the police academy, and that turns out they do peer evaluations, and it causes havoc.
Yeah.
It causes havoc because they know who slammed everybody so they could rise to the top. It's a credit, though, to all these kids that you're having to have a debate about Boxer of the Year. There's no standout, absolute number one, so that's a great thing. But I like picking their brain and seeing what they all think the criteria should be. Okay.
Yeah, no. You guys all put some thought into this. What am I getting?
Nothing.
Nah, I knew it.
Best buddy award.
Best buddy.
Best buddy award.
Biggest hands award.
Most active old guy.
We've only been able to get him one this year so far. We were trying for 2, but the
the
only guy that was over 200 was that 37-year-old guy, and I was like, I don't see them jumping on that train.
No.
Yeah,
I would have to cut down to 205 to make that happen.
Well, as long as he's over 201, as long as he's 201, he's super
right.
heavy. Yeah, so you could be 400 pounds and it wouldn't matter. I just didn't think.
Golly.
Yeah.
I was about to say, do they even have a cutoff for heavyweight?
No, 201.1 up.
That's it.
I wish they did, but that would take like a worldwide change, right,
Yeah.
to do that. And used to be 204. We were talking about the great Felix Savone. I think it was 204 then.
And I could have sworn, didn't they used to have heavyweight and they had super heavyweight for anyone over 285 or something like that?
Wrestling, remember they used to have that at like 285. And of course, Olympic lifting and what have you.
So we're gonna go. We're actually gonna turn the mic over here to Mr. Wyatt. You got anything to add for this podcast episode?
No.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Thank
you for the
Words of wisdom from Mr. Wyatt. What about you, Aiden?
Like a topic?
Yeah.
I think we could go back to Preston and ask Preston, how do you feel about, like, since you've been doing combat sports your entire life, do you do anything else other than combat sports, like any other hobbies?
You know what's funny?
Oh my God, that's we were talking
about this actually.
They were just talking about, because this is the first time I've ever heard you speak. I've never
Yeah.
heard you speak. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, yeah, does he even talk? I'm like, I've never
You
heard
will
him say
lose.
a single word. Yeah.
You will lose.
I could see him. Wait. Everyone take a guess on what Preston does.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, let's take a guess.
I think he does something like super out of the field, like pottery.
Pottery?
Yeah,
That's
something
great.
super out of the field.
I could see him reading.
He's crocheting.
I could see you reading. No reading? Okay.
I'm going to say you got to be a gamer.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
gamer.
Texting the hose.
Oh,
Dang
What do you
it!
play?
Hey,
What do you play?
you see
Yeah,
the
but
way he's sitting
What
in
game
the chair.
is it? Like, what's a couple games you play?
Yeah.
Siege.
Oh my
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm leaving this.
What rank? What rank?
I'm leaving this podcast.
Like gold, platinum.
Oh my God!
what is Siege? What I think it is?
It's like
It's a 5v5.
Yeah, it's a 5v5
extraction shooter.
There's like 5 people outside of a house and then
Like-
5 people in the house, and you have to defend from inside, and then the outside's like the offense.
So you're a
Yeah.
PC gamer then?
You could
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought he was PC because the position
have
he's in,
me.
he's like,
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, I'm like, because my favorite one's Counter-Strike.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Is it just Siege? Is it just Siege? Are you like a hardcore Siege gamer?
I don't really play no more.
What?
Yeah.
He's
He
playing.
made it to the top.
He made it to
the top.
Siege.
I I've already beaten everybody.
Oh, I got a topic. Our next show.
We're looking. Our doctor retired on us that I'd used for the last 14 years. So give him a shout out, Dr. Blake, and it actually got him. He was on the Team USA travel team, and he's retired. So we're working out for who our physician's going to be on our next show, and we're looking at probably February if we're being realistic. By the time but before you put in for a sanction, you have to have that doctor registered with USA Boxing, background, all that. It's free for them. But they do have to watch the Safe Sport videos, 2 to 3 hours of their time. And it won't let you fast forward through it. You have to answer questions as you go.
You want some cash? Hit us up.
Yeah. I do. I had thought of a good time. So what's the fight, what's the professional boxing match that we want to see in 2025?
Alan Provis versus.
No, I said professional boxing match.
There's
right? No, we're talking about known boxers that we know that's already fought on TV, pay-per-view. Yeah.
Top 10.
Even if it's not been announced yet.
Right. Yeah, you pick it.
Okay. What about ones that have been announced? Is that?
Yeah, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I'm just, who do you want to see lock up?
I really want to see the Fury versus Usyk. I want to see Fury lose.
That's December 21st,
What if he wins?
2025. So let's go beyond that.
What if he wins?
I don't think it's not happening.
Set up a three-peat,
2025.
I'm a root for Fury.
Let's stick with ones that's not made yet, right? I'll give y'all time to think. I'm gonna say Terrence Crawford either versus Tank going back down to 47 or Canelo on Cinco de Mayo.
Tank retiring?
I think
he says that after next year, but as soon as he needs paid,
I think one
of those two.
I really like that one. I don't think Canelo though will fight Crawford at all.
Well, it makes if Canelo is looking for risk versus reward, and it appears that he is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't fight Benavidez, but he turned around. I don't fight Mexicans, and then he turned around and fought another Mexican fighter. Risk versus reward, it makes a lot of sense for him at this point. Like, can you imagine what that would look like on Cinco de Mayo?
That'd be big.
Oh, yeah.
But I think on Cinco de Mayo, doesn't he always want to have another Mexican fighter on Cinco de Mayo?
No, he skipped out on that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, in the fall there on the, I guess you'd call that their Independence Day.
Yeah.
That's when he fought the other Mexican fighter back on Cinco de Mayo. He fought. So I'm trying to remember who he fought, but he didn't miss those two because that's the big money fight days, right, for them. So, yeah, I definitely want to say I think that fight makes sense now. And Crawford's already fought at 54. If he's looking risk versus reward, how much can I get paid for the least amount of risk? It's the small guy.
I could see it, but I don't know. Canelo, the fights he's been picking recently, I don't feel like that goes with this criteria that he's been picking.
He's no longer. You get to a point in their career that they're a little past their prime. I mean, he's got some miles on him, and he's earned that. He's earned that right to fight who he wants to fight.
Yeah.
But he's no longer trying to be. I mean, he's got the unified title.
Yeah.
But he clearly passed up on, and I don't blame him. At the time, he passed up on Benavidez. Benavidez was not a household name like Crawford is.
Yeah.
Right. The money wouldn't have been there to match the risk that he was taking. Also, we talked about before, I wouldn't mind at this point because the money makes sense. I wouldn't mind seeing him pummel Jake Paul.
I think, actually, I feel like that's a good topic too.
Because he's a bigger guy.
Who do you think? Because Jake Paul, what he does usually is he'll get on a podcast like this or anything like that, and he'll just call out a bunch of bunch of big names,
like a big list.
Yeah.
He goes down.
Conor McGregor. Do any of us see Jake Paul fighting any big boxer next? Who do we
Ryan
think is
Garcia.
next?
Only if he's got a huge weight and size advantage like that. That's
Do you
the only
think?
way.
Does that mean you lean more towards Garcia? Do you think he'll try to fight? They'll try to make that happen.
Garcia's fat.
Garcia's crazy enough maybe to do that?
Yeah.
Why is he on the 1-year suspension?
Yeah.
He is.
Most,
He's fighting.
I don't know if it's every state, but
It might already happen.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a sanctioned pro fight at that point. If
Yeah.
you want to fight.
yeah, that's just so much size to
Yeah.
give up. And then he'd want to put bigger gloves on him and all this kind of crap.
I would want to see that.
Put him in 8-ounce gloves, and then I want to see him get caught with that check hook.
The hook of doom.
Yeah, see what
Captain
happens.
Hook.
So anybody else, Braden, who'd you like to say?
I want to see a Beevil come back. I don't care who he
Please,
fights. I love
Beevil.
Beevil.
Who you want to see him match with?
I don't know.
Anybody. He's just so fun to watch.
Beevil's. I love.
I love the
Beevil.
2-3.
If he goes back to 68, he's probably the man at 68, don't you think? He's already got a win over Canelo. Yeah.
Who'd he lose to? Again,
Better
yeah.
be
Yeah,
the
his last
Russian.
fight.
Gosh.
I didn't watch that. Did he lose bad?
The science experiment.
he
No, it
didn't-
wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it was definitive. Better be have got him.
He won the early rounds, and then it kind of
Yeah,
flipped. I mean, Beterbiev is just a monster.
yeah, he just does not stop.
It's like Cro-Magnon. Yeah.
Him and Usyk both, man.
Yeah.
They got that freak.
Yeah, he's got
They
the big,
got
thick
an eyebrow ridge.
forehead.
They can smoke a cigar in the rain with that thing, dude.
Yeah. What? Who just? So you like Beevil? You like to see Beevil?
Yeah, Beevil. Yeah, anything.
I mean,
with Beevil.
Beevil Benavides. You know.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
I would
Yeah.
like to see that.
Yeah.
But you
Wyatt, is there anybody jumps out at you?
I want to see Ryan and Jake.
Ryan and Jake.
Hold on. I want to see a Tank versus Ryan rematch because
No.
Without
without
all the weight stuff.
hold
yeah.
on without the no rehydration clause, because you seen that Ryan Garcia looked like a dead man, and I think he
did,
clearly
yeah.
stops him.
His cheeks were all sunk in like he's stepping on the
Even
Olympic stage.
Ryan wins if
No.
if there's
At
if
one
there's
No,
rehy-
he's not ready.
At 145.
Yes, he does. He
at-
wins.
At 145.
I think
No rehydration.
exactly.
Or just call it welter. At welter at 147, that's
I
a fight.
think I think
Tank got
Tank's still
to.
good.
Their
He's still
last
gonna walk.
fight, Tank had the no rehydration clause, and that's what killed Ryan. To see his nose bleeding easily.
The thing that you have to, and we talked about a little bit before, like Tank's trainer, Calvin Ford. I didn't mention this. That's what I thought about today. Calvin Ford shows up and he's got the glasses and the beads hanging off of him and stuff. You know, great guy, great trainer. He shows up at the 2018 at the Kentucky State Fair, right, with a female boxer, Mexican girl. And I told him, Calvin Ford showing up at an amateur show, he bring one boxer, she's coming to kill, right? I mean, and sure enough, she mopped the floor with her opponent. Calvin's a good trainer. If you watch that video with Tank and Ryan, they knew that he's going to throw that leaping left hook. And if you watch how Tank was programmed, he just dropped straight down and came up with a left hook, whether it was head or body. Of course, he's left-handed. And catching Ryan moving into his left hook. First one, it knocked him down with it was a headshot, and then the second one caught him to the body. Mm-hmm. So he's going to have to deal with that, right? That level of coaching, that level of precision, that he can't just lunge at him throwing left hooks. He's going to have to develop his right hand a little bit and just touch his leg glove at least with his jab. So there's more things to address there. The spread between them than just the weight and the hydration that Ryan would really need to fix. Because Tank is a guy that grew up in a hotbed of boxing, 150 amateur fights, I think, at the highest level, at the who's who of boxing. He's been in there. He is he's about as skilled, precise, good decision maker of any guy that you ever see that punches like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I would like to see it at 47 with no. I mean, let Ryan come in at 65 if he wanted to find out. Yeah, it's more of a fight. Ryan's probably able to absorb those blows better.
Yeah.
At that way, yeah.
Especially with some water.
I think Ryan's probably one fight away from securing that rematch. Would y'all agree with that? One good performance.
Yeah.
If he could get out of the loony bin.
Yeah.
The Facebook Lives, he's always on. It's hilarious.
He's marketing himself really well. I mean, we got these Cobra Strikers back here, and I mean, he really
goes
got like this
crazy
big.
on
And when he started under Golden Boy, some of these guys don't remember. If you watched the Golden Boy show, you could tell Ryan was boxing because the crowd was full of girls. I mean, you could tell by the breakdown in the crowd
I'd
that
say
Ryan must be on the show. Yeah, right. Mongo's wanting that too. So, Preston, who would you like to see?
I like Caleb Plant. He's pretty good.
Oh my God! Yes.
Everybody hangs on Caleb Plant because he's from Nashville. Let's give Caleb credit though, right? I mean, he came back from that Canelo fight.
He did everything he could
Lost
possibly
it.
do.
He's made every dollar that Caleb could make with the talent that God gave Caleb, right? He really has. He got the title, and then they played exactly the way I would have done it if I was managing him. They played safe till they got the Canelo money. Then I think they had one fight in between was at Darrell, the fight in between Canelo and Benavidez, and then it was Benavidez, I think. At least one in between there. Knocked Darrell out and then lost to Benavidez. But he's played the game, like they say, use boxing, don't let boxing use you. And he's played the game correct, made it. I think he won the last spot in the U.S. Olympic trials, and that's what got him as a professional. You're starting out eating round steak instead of having to sell tickets, right, to pay for your opponent on a show. Most people don't know that either, right? You're selling. If you want to be the A-side guy and you didn't do anything much as an amateur, you're out selling tickets to pay for now kind of the going rates at $800 to $1,000 for your very first fight. You're having to sell tickets to pay for that opponent before you ever make $1. So you may show up owing money to get to box.
Piggybacking off that, I guess go back to Preston. Since you done like a lot of like the amateur stuff, and then you kind of moved with like Aries and stuff, and that's kind of more like professional-esque. What's the difference, like with all the contracts and stuff like that? Do you ever do anything with that, or like put your input on it, or
They
do you
don't,
just
on the amateur side? They don't do contracts.
it's not contract or anything?
No,
Nothing.
they can't. If they pay
It's
you,
like what about
So
like
an
the
amateur if they
rounds
pay
and
you.
stuff?
it's
what I'm
just
asking.
verbal negotiation. Yeah, it's
no
verbal.
paper or anything.
No, you're not signing off on anything other than your health questionnaire and things like that. But
Okay.
yeah, it's
Now,
verbal.
I didn't
I have
know
a
that.
question for Preston. How will you be able to go from fighting in Muay Thai to like the next 2 days fighting boxing and not accidentally kick somebody in the head?
I don't know.
It's like going from 2-wheel drive to 4-low.
Yeah, for
Yeah, but he can do it. Yeah, he can do it.
Have you ever trained in any like ground game, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, or anything like that?
Not really.
Not
Just,
really.
No.
Heck yeah.
What I do notice is like on the boxing side, like his clinches. The
Clinch
Muay
is
Thai
nice.
helps his
Yeah.
clinches. He's able to control arms and things pretty
And
good.
every time I see you grab either Aiden or Braden here, I'm like, here comes the punch.
And he gets he's southpaw. He's able to get.
I'm looking for
some
it too. I know it's coming.
shots off in close with his left hand in the clinches. So he clinches fairly well on the boxing side. He benefits from the Muay Thai.
Yeah, no, I think that was one thing that benefited me when I had started boxing was when I got clinched up was my wrestling background. I love doing guys would try to hold my arm because I know how to break free of that and everything. And also, if you're holding my arm, you're within my striking distance, I'm a
Right.
short guy with T-Rex arms, so I always like
You do hit hard.
I do. I don't even have to try it.
Yes, I know. We were doing the drills, and he like lightly tasked me. I see white. I'm like, oh, well. Tickle my brain a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I don't mean to, dude. Like I'm like, it sucks sometimes because I like sparring around and everything, and
Yeah.
I'm not, because like from my background, I've been put in the position where I was like when I was 178, and I was sparring with pro heavyweights. I was put in the position where they were trying to kill me, and I did not like that at all because I got my bell rung real bad one time. I got lost driving home from it. Yeah, I was concussed. And I'm like, dude, that was a horrible, horrible sparring day for me. But I'm like, so I don't like hitting people too hard in the head when we're sparring. I'll hit you hard in the body. I got no problem with that. The body heals up fine, but I don't like blasting people in the head.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speak for yourself.
You've got kind of more of that George Foreman
I do.
punch. Yeah.
I've always-
Like I always said that George Foreman, if he had the technical skill like of Mike Tyson, the arm at a perfect 90-degree bend and the hips rotating and everything, that he probably would have put a couple guys in the grave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was knocking those dudes out with a lot of arm punches.
Yep.
Just because, he was like 225 to 230 there in his prime before the layoff.
And
And
he was like what 6'4", 6'5"?
6'3", 80 plus inch reach. I mean, but a lot of those guys he was knocking out with arm punches, and he wasn't getting that hip and spine rotation like Joe Frazier and Tyson. If he had, I think a couple guys probably would have been in the graveyard. I mean, that guy is a genetic anomaly. Yeah, for sure.
And especially to come back from being 45 years old and coming back and winning the world title again.
And they all laughed at him. I can remember when he started and he first came back at 30, I think he's 38, and he's overweight and he's hitting the bag and he's got a old gray sweatsuit like you'd go buy at Walmart or something, the cheapest brand there, and they're all just, oh, yeah, that nice old George, he's going to come back. And of course, he's boxing low-level guys when he comes back. And then he got there. When he fought Evander Holyfield, Holyfield was at the best that he ever was. I mean, if you watch that fight, Holyfield was sharp as a razor. And George gave him all he wanted in that fight, right? And George actually said something that stuck out to me. He said, when I jabbed him, he said, I hit Holyfield too hard with my jab. Do you know what he meant? Do any of you guys know what he meant?
He provoked him.
He knocked him out of punching range. So when he knew he wanted to throw a 1-2, when he wanted to throw the right hand behind it, he's hit him so hard with his jab that he's knocked him out of punching range and he can't hit him with his right hand. So you get that guy feeding him that stiff jab, and then all of a sudden you mix it up and just put a touch jab over his left eye and the right hand right behind it.
Yeah.
And George failed it. So if you watch, George learned his lesson. When he knocked Michael Moore out, he put that touch jab, just a touch jab, to blind him over the left eye, and he rolled through with that right hand, and you could have counted to 1,000. So he had learned his lesson from losing to Holyfield, and then knocked Michael Moore out with the same punch he should have been using on Holyfield.
And I couldn't believe the performance that Moore put up against Holyfield too, man. He whooped.
Talking about the first fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, Holyfield didn't have an answer for that jab in that first fight.
Yep.
Second fight, though, Holyfield made it definitive. Yeah, very definitive.
Adding on to like knockouts and stuff, since we have two people who just got knockdowns and we have someone who's had a knockout, how does that feel like in the moment, right? For just both of you guys.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
You're surprised?
Yeah.
You were surprised, even though you knocked him down, and as soon as he gets up, you hit him with a leg kick.
Yeah, that was like my first
Heck,
actual knockout.
Knockout?
Yeah.
So that was your first one.
Yeah.
Nice. My first knockout.
Actually, he stopped guys, but that's his first knocking somebody unconscious.
Yeah, he was out.
Tingling their brain a little bit.
Yeah, Mongo's last when the guy quits on the stool after two, so he didn't get the
satisfaction.
The full Monty, And I told him after the first, you always wonder what people say in the
They were
corner.
waving.
And after the first round, I said, his conditioning's already went off the edge of the cliff, right? I said he's going to get less and less aggressive. And as Mongo stood up, he said, that sucks for him. Because I'm coming. Yeah.
That's totally bad.
Yeah, you always wonder what boxers are saying back to their coaches. What's the coaches? Some coaches are cheerleaders, and some coaches actually coach. And he said that sucks for him. Yeah.
Let's touch on Mason a little bit. Mason, I know you got some experience down in Cleveland. How different was it competing in Cleveland than it was down here?
Cleveland's a hotbed of boxing.
Cleveland's a hotbed of boxing. You see so much. In Cleveland, there's a lot of dudes that are really highly skilled just walking the streets that never did anything with it, whether it's because money wasn't right or I knew dudes that had really bad home situations and they couldn't pursue boxing because of that. There's a lot of dangerous guys just walking the streets in these hotbeds of boxing, like in the Bronx, in Cleveland, Detroit. There's a lot of dudes that could probably beat up some pro fighters. That's what taught me. Even when you become a highly skilled fighter, you got to be careful who you talk to in the streets, or if you ever get in an altercation, you don't know who's who.
Well, I brought this up today. I think silver medalist and Timmy Austin. Do you remember Timmy?
Yeah.
If you saw Timmy Austin, the last thing that go through your mind would be from Cincinnati. I bet that dude's tough. And, man, he could light you up. I bet he hit you 10 times before you blink. And before you realized you were in over your head, you already chopped up. Yeah. You just don't know.
One thing in the fight, I mean, look at all us, right? I feel like at first glance, you're not going to think any of us are.
Thank God we live in London,
I'm
Kentucky.
gonna think you guys are playing Dungeons and Dragons together.
They do.
I know you do.
That's true.
Do not expose us on the internet, okay? Yeah. You don't get to say that.
Yeah, you're talking Cleveland. You got some great coaches up there. Bernard Sappho, good friend of mine, and he produced the Olympian in 2012. Terrell Gachet. He had number 3 girl in the world there, Kashmir Jackson, that I had the chance to coach, and she's no longer with us. And but I mean, and how many did he have like that didn't make it because they got locked up or drugs got them or so or you'll have guys that's in a gym that could spar anybody. And I remember
just can't stay in the gym.
One of the announcers was talking about that Paulie Malignaggi. He's talking about Broner. He said every gym in these inner cities has a guy as talented as Broner that just didn't get treated like that. And he's not wrong. Yeah, he's not wrong.
Oh man, I see my experience. So, like, I had always gotten into martial arts. I got into martial arts when I was younger, like right around like 12, 13. I started off in jiu-jitsu, but I played football and I wrestled my whole entire life up into that. And then once I turned 16, got a car and everything, started driving around. I started going to open fight nights at like karate gyms, taekwondo gyms. That
Charge $5, fight whoever you want.
Yeah, and I would go in there and I was beating people up, man. And I remember the one time I went to this taekwondo gym that my buddy's family owned, and I had no sparring etiquette whatsoever. I didn't even know how to point spar.
Right.
Like in taekwondo, I was
Kill.
just treating it like a fight because I was treating it like, oh, this is a fight, and like I had good fundamentals from my dad, my grandpa. My grandpa was a rough dude, grew up in the streets, did time in Shawshank, you know.
Shawshank?
Yeah, he did time at Shawshank.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's a crazy.
Yeah, he was only 17 when he went too.
Did he meet
What
Dufresne?
what is Shawshank?
Have you ever
There's
seen
a-
Shawshank Redemption?
Prison movie, Shawshank
Oh,
Redemption.
man.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, I had good fundamentals. I was always just a good natural fighter. And so I was going to these gyms. I was beating people up. I even beat up a guy that had like I broke his nose, actually. I cracked it bad. He was a 5-time national champion, and he threw a spinning wheel kick right at my chin, and I just bobbed right out of it. And as soon as he came down, I came right in and cracked him. Broke his nose like that, and then he had the audacity to be like, "You show your face in here again, I'm gonna get you." Like it was funny. I'm like, okay, but the first time I ever got beat up was in Cleveland at a boxing gym. It was at Flex's. Went in there, and he first thing Flex said to me, he's like, "Strong style's that way." That's Stipe Miocic's MMA gym. You know, that's the white boy,
Right.
That's the white boy gym. And I told him,
Flex was Latino,
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. That's what
Yeah.
Puerto Ricano.
Yeah, Puerto
Yeah.
Ricano. But he ended up, trying to chase me out of the gym a little bit, threw me in with his best guys, and he threw me in with a 145-pounder, Martinez, and he's a short black dude.
He's
and
polishing you up.
Yeah, and I looked at him like, man, I was like 195 at the time, and I was like decently lean. I'm like, I'm gonna kick this dude around this ring. I couldn't touch him, and he was just bop, bop, bop. I'm like, oh my gosh, how come I can't hit this guy? But yes, that's how I got started out, and there's a lot more to those stories about that. But that's basically I started. I got humbled, got beat up, and I just kept coming back. We're good.
All right, so I think I know who Braden's answer will be. So we're talking anybody out there. Could even be a pipe dream, or could be an immediate goal. Who's the one person out there, even if it's immediate or down the road, that you would like to box? Start with Braden.
Tony Music.
He had to think real hard about that.
Who?
Say it louder.
Tony Music.
Yeah, Braden and Tony Music boxed here on our April show.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's a
and
good boxer,
we sparred
too.
one time before that. They came down for spar, and they were just like oil and water. Yeah,
Did not
and they
mix.
just did not get along. And he's out of Bowling Green there. Good. Good
He's
coach, good program, all that. But just sometimes two guys just do not jive. So
Yeah.
I'm like, let's throw them in there and let them figure it out.
He's a good boxer. I will admit he's a good boxer.
So they
But,
boxed.
I mean,
They boxed once here, and Braden came on top. Good close bout, and now they're just dying to
go at
settle
it,
the
yeah.
score.
If they do fight again here at one of our shows, I will beg Dad to put in the main event.
It'd have to
Needs
be.
to be
It
now.
would
Now,
have to
now
be.
they're both open, so
Both
they need to be in
walk out.
3-minute rounds. Give them more
They're both
time
open,
to-
so we're fighting now.
Yeah, I would. He's 18 now, so you guys
go.
see 17 and box 18, and I think what happened, Braden turned 19. There was too big a spread, so now they're legal and they're open, so they can box 3-minute
You
rounds.
got to start doing some promo for that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start
What do
building
you,
up.
what do you
Yeah, so he's
gotta, what do you
wanting,
gotta say to Tony Music?
What do I gotta say to Tony Music?
If Tony was sitting here right now, what would you say?
I mean, I'd just say let's get in the ring and let's sort it out. Like you know how like Floyd does like the 30 minutes, like nonstop.
Till somebody lays
Till-
down.
I mean, I respect him. Not really, but I respect him as a fighter. But we don't jive with each other. Like I'm more of a humble guy. I don't.
I
I'm
got
a-
you.
Show guy.
And he didn't take the loss very well.
He did
right?
not.
He felt
He
like
did not.
Just a chill guy.
He
And he
felt like it
complained
should've
the
went his way.
entire show about it. Like, like all the way up to the end. I'm
I
like,
got
dude,
robbed.
can you shut up? Like, no, it's not even your fight anymore. Your other
Right.
teammates are fighting, and he's complaining about losing.
Right. From my perspective, I'm always like, okay, we got bigger fish to fry. We're trying to get to the USA, in June, the summer.
Yeah.
And but if the opportunity comes up to hook, that's rivalries are good competition, right? You already know that other guy's going to bring it. So I'm all about letting you guys box on neutral court somewhere, 3-minute rounds. Fantastic. So anybody else who you want to box?
Mine's down the road when I've got a couple more open fights.
Okay.
I'd really like to spar Shannon a few times and then maybe have a bout with him. I think that would be really good.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's referring to Shannon's last name.
I don't even know.
Shannon boxes out of Knoxville Golden Gloves, which is the famed trainer. Started that gym was Ace Miller. That used to be Ace Miller. That's going way back. I was sitting on the floor of my grandpa's in Manchester, 1980. He was training Big John Tate. Big John Tate got knocked out in the 15th round by Mike Weaver, and that's Ace Miller started that gym, and now Judge Hill is the coach. But Shannon was number 2 at the National Silver Gloves last year, I think. Open class, but they've sparred together quite a bit. Yeah, he's pretty slick little boxer. So you'd actually like to compete with Shannon
Yeah, I'd
one
like
day.
to compete.
And they like each other, so it's all good. All right, so Wyatt or Preston?
I'll go Tommy Fury.
Tommy Fury, so you'd like to get to like 16, 17 and fight Tommy Fury?
Tommy, the one that beat Jake. I'll like to fight
avenge
Tommy.
Jake.
He's gonna try and avenge.
No. No.
Jake, this is your number 1 fan. Right here, man.
He was
No.
like 4 years old, and he's watching, maybe 5, but I think he's 4, and he's watching Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and all their shenanigans in their house. And he says, I'd like to live with them. And crushes his mom's feelings. She's like, you mean you'd leave your mommy to, and he goes, yeah. Yeah. He said, that'd be fun. He said, I'd come see you like once a year or something like that. He's trying to backpedal a little bit, but she was just so devastated. Even after she framed it like that, like leave your mother. He's like 4. He's like, oh yeah. He said, have you seen it? He said, that'd be so cool.
My favorite story from Wyatt is the Jesus one.
Oh, she said,
Oh, God.
she said something one time. He's little. He's like maybe 4. And she said, because Jesus is your friend. And he doesn't understand the whole theological,
When I was
thing at that
4
4. And,
4 years old.
and he says, I've
4
got enough
years old.
friends. He said, Jesus ain't my friend. He said, my friends list is full. And I said, that's going to be a 30-minute speech. So he has to stand right between her legs, and her hold his arms, and 30 minutes of explaining how he is your friend. And I was like, sucks to be you, buddy. It's going to be a 30-minute speech. But he said, I've got enough friends. Pattern,
I asked my mom.
negative ghostwriter, the pattern's
I asked
full.
my mom about that. She said she don't remember that at
Oh,
all.
I remember it. Yeah, as a 30-minute speech. All right, Preston. So who's out there now or down the road that you'd like to?
I'd like to have like a shot at the Freedom World title. So yeah,
On the Muay Thai side?
yeah, on Muay
Can you
Thai.
think of a particular guy you'd like to be on the other side of the bracket?
Landon Cahill.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
got a name, yeah.
Oh,
So is he
man.
your age?
Yeah.
So
I
he's
think
about
a-
your age?
Yeah,
Have
a
you
year
fought him
older.
before?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I came up short, but
Where was that
it was
at?
a good match.
Where was that at?
The TBA. In
Was that the
Iowa.
New York City?
No, it was in a World Championship.
Where was that at, though?
Iowa, Des Moines.
Okay,
Iowa.
I remember.
Yeah.
And how long ago's that been?
Last year.
Okay, so that's your only Muay Thai loss, right?
Yeah.
Since we started working together back in 2019, right?
Yeah.
I think he's only had one Muay Thai loss since he started working. His boxing, when you take Muay Thai and then you add the boxing to it, that part of the game really overwhelmed
changes.
some guys.
Yeah. Well,
and-
I'm sure you know Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
His boxing is what puts people out a lot of the times. Like, don't get me wrong, his kicks are phenomenal, but he even says that your hands, because like even in kickboxing or Muay Thai, everyone likes.
You've
to
got
work
a
at the
good
kicks,
overall skill set, and then you excel there. You're able to really make some guys
Yep, and
uncomfortable.
like I said, even watching you spar and everything, I'm like, no, he's good. He's a good boxer too.
I would like to see Preston fight Sean O'Malley.
Sugar shot.
You mean like in Muay Thai?
Yeah.
Anything, regular MMA.
We'll
Muay-
take the
Muay Thai.
ground game out of it. Yeah, just to stand up.
Who do you think
Yeah.
wins
What's-
that, Dad?
Well, he just turned 15, right? So I think I mean you're watching. I'm gonna tell you. I think O'Malley's overhyped.
What?
I think
Whatever.
I think you give him another year, like you give him another year of physical development.
Let's screw it. Put Preston in there,
and
John Jones.
I think he'll
Preston and John
he'll
Jones.
wax O'Malley in a stand-up fight. I mean, anybody get lucky with 4-ounce gloves on or something?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a way better fighter than O'Malley is
Dad, you're
stand-up.
just a hater.
O'Malley's overhyped and he's fighting little dudes. He's another Conor McGregor. Well, I
he's
walk
trying.
around and weigh 170 and cut all the way down to 45, so I have an advantage. If you got a really great fighter, I'm not starving them like that. If my guy's great, why would I fight the scale and the opponent, right? Why am I going to cut that much chasing advantage? Adrian Broner, why was he – I love Mike Stafford, right? He's passed away on us, good friend of mine. Why did they feel the need to cut him all the way down to 130? Because they knew he didn't have the character and the work ethic to win at 35 when he don't have that distinct size advantage. See? But yeah, I think he's back to the point. I think Preston, that you let him hit a little bit more physical maturity, stand up, he walks through Sean O'Malley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sean O'Malley can't fight at the pace that this kid fights at.
No, he's
When the bell rings, this kid, you're in hell and you stay in hell until the bell rings again. It's round after round, right? He's a cardio. How many miles you like to run?
6, 7.
See, he ain't doing the
Yeah.
minimum. I'm telling him, hey, we don't need to run that far. If we can do 6, 7, then we need to dial that back and be running at a faster pace to get the heart rate up close to 200. But yeah, he's got the cardio that goes with it, the motor. I see Sean O'Malley fighting in spots, and he's using his length to be able to fight when he wants and rest when he wants. What happened last fight?
with
Your
Marab.
Eastern
Guy wrestled
Eastern
him.
European guy,
Yeah,
was it?
Rob.
Yeah, he got
Mopped the floor with him.
Yep, he had a game plan. He executed it perfectly.
Yeah, mopped the floor with him.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Extremely boring fight. I mean, I love wrestling and all that, but man, I cannot stand to watch wrestlers fight. I'm like,
Especially when they know they have no stand-up.
yeah.
They're like static cling, and that's where they want to stay.
I think
Yeah.
wrestling's only
Yeah.
good to watch if it's like wrestling on wrestling.
Yeah.
But watching that in
A
any
wrestler
other,
versus a wrestler where they're both equal and it
well,
can
no, I
be
mean just in
reversed.
wrestling, but watching
Yeah.
it in like UFC or something is like so boring.
But if you got two real high-level guys and you know that it can be reversed at any moment, you have some
Yeah.
suspense. But when you get that guy on top of Sean O'Malley,
yeah,
you know you couldn't get him off of him with a crane.
yeah,
Right, it's going to stay right there for the rest of the round, but he's not going to be able to get clean John Jones, George St. Pierre strikes and get him out of there. It's just it's boring.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that O'Malley?
I think I'd do good standing up. I don't know much ground game.
He's saying,
I-
I'll,
Yeah.
he's saying I'll see you in
He
3
don't,
years,
he don't,
Sean.
he don't either. He don't either.
I got a question for Preston. Another one, just one. You were walking to your fight, the Aries fight, and you
Yeah.
were singing "Superstar."
Yeah.
He was bobbing his head, singing. What was going through your mind when you were walking to the octagon?
I was just ready to fight. You know, I hadn't competed in like over probably a year or two. So yeah.
Was there any reason for the break or?
He played
just,
some basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
just
baseball
took
too.
some time off.
Just took
Yeah.
some time off.
Yeah.
Actually enjoyed life a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, last topic that we want to go over tonight. I thought about this today. This came up. So, if you passed away tonight, and you're going to be reincarnated as any fighter, current,
Braden
past. Now, who would you want? This was actually a movie, black and white movie. The guy, the Grim Reaper came and got this guy that wasn't actually supposed to die, but they couldn't put him back in his own body, so he had to pick somebody. And he was a boxer, and they ended up putting him back in. And they wiped his memory though. The angel did. I don't know what they did with that guy's memory.
I got
But
my
he
answer.
took a spot.
He's just
That
a big
actually was an old black and white movie. So, if you got to come back, who you coming back as?
I feel like you got to pick someone that's not in hot water right now.
Yeah.
Or like doesn't have like a bunch of.
I don't know.
like,
I don't
terrible
think I should.
background.
I don't think I want to glaze anybody too much. God, I want to be him so bad. I don't know if I want.
I think I'd want to come back as me.
Yeah, I
Just
want
come back as you because you haven't seen
I-
how the story
I-
ends.
I gotta
no,
finish it.
let's say you can't come back.
Can't come back as
you gotta
me?
pick somebody.
Could be.
Yeah, that's too easy.
I gotta pick someone that's not controversial but is on the rise. Do I have their their conditioning or like their mind or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or-
like it's your conscious jumping into them.
okay.
You know, just
So
like
I would
your-
like I'd have the conditioning but not the experience.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
You don't have their past memories and trauma.
I need someone who's like a genetic freak.
Jones.
Well, he's not like a genetic freak. He's just like a.
John Jones' voice does not match his body. I was expecting him to
Yeah.
be talking like this, but he's like
So what
this.
do you think?
blah, 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 blah.
Does anybody know? Do you know Preston?
I'm not really sure.
I know.
Like,
I know.
mine.
I know.
That's a hard
Who's
What about
that?
you, Jerry?
You know, my first thought, of course, the first two names jumped out at me. Of course, was Ali and then Sugar Ray Leonard.
We can be.
But really, really with Ali, I mean, Ali really did about everything. How are you going to improve on what he did? I mean, the 4-year ban there, I mean, you could have cooperated, went in the military and done some exhibitions, maybe not been banned as long, but it'd been hard to maximize what he did any more than what he did. And then Ray Leonard, same way. The only way you could maximize what Ray did better would be not to fight Duran, that first loss, but to box him like he did the second one, and it made him quit. And he got out of the game a little sooner, right? He got touched up a little bit there at the end. But really, when I think about what they could have done that they didn't do because of lifestyle and decision making, can you imagine if you went back into Mike's body, right? The night he beats Michael Spinks, boom, you morph Quantum Leap, right? And you say, no, I don't believe I'll fire Kevin Rooney. I don't believe I'll fire Bill Caton, right, my manager. You can go, but they're staying. And then you don't do, obviously, what he did there in Indianapolis and get convicted. Think about how that would have turned out. Now you've got him versus Evander instead of Evander versus Buster, right? When that comes, Evander was actually the next fight for Tyson when he lost. A lot of people don't know that. Evander was sitting ringside. That was number one contender was Evander. So you got the Evander fights. You got the Riddick-Bowe fights. You've got the Lennox-Lewis fights, right? You know, Ray Mercer, Tommy Morrison. I mean, he would have been the first billionaire athlete. Hands down, first billionaire athlete.
I don't know, because I feel like if you get turned into like my thought process, let's say I do get turned into Mike Tyson. Like I have Mike Tyson's body, but I don't got his mind, right? So you're not like you're not able to execute what he would have been able to execute if you're in his body.
That's not a super hard style to. Yeah, he was.
I know my
It's
answer.
a program style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
it's,
know.
Let's say
Many
you've got
years.
you've got
Many
the
years.
skill. You've got the skill that comes with it.
Oh,
right? You're
okay.
inheriting the skill, right?
I'd probably choose if I'm inheriting like the experience, all that. I'd probably choose someone like maybe Canelo, just someone who's towards the end of their career, and I can just swoop up the benefits of the money, and like all that.
Hey, you don't want to go back to getting polished up by Floyd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd go towards the end and then do my final fight for Cinco de Mayo and then like retire.
Yeah.
That'd be me.
Beat Terrence Crawford
Yeah,
on Cinco
then-
de Mayo.
Yeah,
Hire
and
Nick
then
Sail
Maybe.
off in the sunset with your
Yeah.
horses running in the field. Yeah, he's into horses. Yeah. Hey, good dad and stuff too. You gotta give him props. Like you don't never hear. There's no drama ever going on with Canelo family. You don't hear about any side chicks. I mean, you got to give him some props. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because he's married. He's married, right? He's got a wife.
Yeah.
That's because his current wife's smoking hot too.
Little girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, man.
But I mean, you hear. You know, you don't hear any.
Nothing. No, he's
No
straight, he's straight
negativity.
edge.
He's done it right. He's
Yeah.
done it the right way.
Yep.
All right, Braden. Right.
Oh,
you
you
got
want
to
me to
jump into somebody's body. You got to pick somebody.
I have to.
Yeah.
Freak. Give me Floyd Mayweather. Why not?
Floyd.
Like
yeah,
now
he likes,
or like
he
when?
likes the controversy.
Congratulations, you cannot read
Floyd,
or
Floyd
write.
really fought back.
Dang. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
And you have
He
brittle
can't-
hands.
he can't read?
No, he can't
No,
read.
he's illiterate. Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah. You guys never remember 50 Cent calling him out about it?
I remember that, but I thought like that was just
If you
him
can
being
read
mean.
one page of a Harry Potter book.
You can read one page. Smart though.
Oh,
Smart.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything contradictory to the mission.
I feel like that's so hard. That'd be so hard to live like illiterate.
Yeah. And, well, when you got money. he's
When
like,
you got
no,
a jillion dollars,
You
I
can
mean,
have, when you
read
got
this
the
to
money
me.
that he does, he can have somebody walking around with him.
All right,
Yeah.
Wyatt,
What's that one guy's name? What's his name that he fought 10 people in one night?
Oh. Give us a little bit more name.
He fought 10 people one night. Called out a lot. I think he lost to Muhammad Ali.
You talking George Foreman?
Yeah, George
Foreman. Did that.
George
Yeah.
Foreman or Tank Davis.
Yeah. Yeah, either one of those would be.
Probably
Especially
more
Tank, if you think of where Tank's sitting now.
He's sitting
if
real good.
If he's got a good sound mind and he don't, this getting in trouble stuff, living a clean life, like he's sitting really in the driver's seat where he could end up. He's the biggest attraction right now.
He could be the next Floyd.
He's the guy right now. Other than Canelo, he's that next tier.
What did he get arrested for? I seen him in handcuffs on TikTok.
I think it's putting his hands on his woman.
Yeah, I did remember.
I can't.
He did that at the boxing show. Remember, he grabbed her and drug her out of her seat. I'm like, that's not a good look for promoters. Yes, not at all. They don't. A lot of folks don't not understand. Nothing excuses that. The conditions that he's raised in, you don't.
You don't.
I mean, when you're talking about that kind of area that he's from, I mean, it's that would be considered mild behavior to what he's grew up.
Because
he's
from Baltimore, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Yeah, right in the slums. Yeah.
That's a rough area.
But I mean, not excusing it, but he's got to pay the price. But if he could stay clean where he's marketable and he looked good on a Wheaties box, I mean, that dude could be a billionaire before he finishes up.
Yeah.
All right, Preston.
I'd probably say Canelo.
Canelo?
Yeah.
How can you not like Canelo?
Prime or like in the career?
I know you guys. Let's hear that.
I don't know. Probably in his prime.
Prime?
Yeah.
Would you like dodge the Floyd fight and wait a little so you don't get that first loss?
That Floyd fight.
I don't know. He was like 42-0, so. I mean,
he had more fights than Floyd did when they fought.
Really?
He was just young, yeah.
Really
He had a lot of fights in Mexico. He hadn't had anything, and De La Hoya was trying to beg him not to do that fight when he did it. But to be honest, even though he got pieced up a little bit, that fight didn't hurt his legacy, at all. My buddy that owns a Mexican restaurant, every time I'd walk in there for years, he like, is Floyd going to give us a rematch? I'm like, dude, you ain't never getting that back. Right? There's nothing about that fight that makes you think Canelo could beat Floyd.
Yeah, because Canelo.
At any era.
Canelo 4 or 5 years ago, I think, would have beaten that Mayweather.
He can't get to 54, though.
Yeah.
Because he'd already done some cycles of sauce.
Oh, you mean
right?
No,
you can't
no,
compare the
eating
Canelo.
Beef, Coach.
Yeah, you eat the wrong beef. That's the thing that a lot of folks confuse is, okay, when he got popped, you watch him in the 9th round with Triple G. That's the moment he realized, these middleweights can really hit. I'm hurt, and his trainer has to prod him and cheerlead him on the stool, and he does come out and win 2 out of them last 3 rounds, or probably 3 out of the last 4 in that first fight to get that draw. But then he got on the sauce, and he got busted for sauce. You can't compare that Canelo to the Canelo that fought Floyd because that Canelo was natty.
Yeah.
Probably lifetime natty. He had to make 52. If you remember, Floyd said you got to make 52 instead of 54. Well, once he done the first cycle, he ain't going to be able to make 52 anymore. He just can't do it. Too much muscle mass on his frame. So it's not fair to say, what if we threw that guy in? Well, that guy would starve to death to make 52.
Right.
And he's going to have to drug test the whole time he's in training camp, right? Floyd did a lot for the sport for fighting clean. I'm the A-side guy. If you're going to fight me and beat me, you're going to have to do it clean. First time he offered Pacquiao, what was that, 2008 or 9? It was a guaranteed $40 million, but you have to submit to USADA-style drug testing. Pacquiao said he was afraid of needles. Really? And then if you watch what Pacquiao was doing, it was great. Bob Arum is great at building fighters up, right, making you think they're better than what they are. Look at who Pacquiao was beating at that time. Old, out of shape De La Hoya. Ricky Hatton that Floyd just knocked out.
Yeah.
Right? You go right down the list. Sugar Shane that Floyd just beat, 40 years old. They were all guys with names, but they're at the end of their career wanting that last check. And then Pacquiao sauced. Pacquiao's first fight was at what weight?
He was like 110?
108.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're at 47.
Yeah, and you're
got lats falling off the side of you, and you're knocking dudes out. Yeah, vascular. Yeah. Vascular in your lats. Yeah, so, yeah, it was pretty. But don't get me wrong. Okay, we got a guy that's a world champion at 35, probably clean. We can get him on a little bit of special sauce, right? Hire what was it, Alex Arisa? That's the sauce guy. Get him up to 47, build him up, beating those guys with name fighters at the end of their career, and then cash out of him. They made all kinds of money.
Oh, yeah.
But then when he fought Floyd and he gets drug tested, and he was younger than Floyd, by the way, when they fought, what happened? He lost 10 rounds out of 12. Okay?
Yeah, that was. I remember being so mad about that fight. I spent the $100, whatever it was, to watch it. I'm
Pretty
like,
uneventful.
Man. Oh, it was horrible.
He's getting countered by that right hand, and
Yeah.
he had a decision to make.
He didn't.
Question, I guess, for you guys, you older guys, like pay-per-view is a lot different. You had to go get like a box, right?
You had to call and get
call.
through and not get a busy. When I first started watching pay-per-view, like high school, watching WrestleMania in the 80s, you had to call actually and talk to somebody, an operator that had to schedule that.
Really?
And then God forbid when the pay-per-view came on, if it didn't come on and work correctly, there's 10,000 people trying to call the line at the same time, and you just gave up on it. It was that complex.
Really?
Yeah. You had to audibly call somebody on the phone and say, I want to order such and such pay-per-view.
Did they sent you like a box though, didn't they?
You got a box.
You got like a little
Yeah,
box.
if you didn't have that box, you couldn't order pay-per-view at all.
Oh.
Like I watched Robbie Knievel. I was a junior in high school when Robbie Knievel jumped the fountains at Caesars. I was big at Evil Knievel. I got scars to prove it. I busted my head, busted my mouth, trying to jump a ditch, right? But you had to call and verbally talk to an operator, and then they schedule that. And then if it don't work, you're sitting there just calling the number over and over, trying to get through. And then once you know the event's already happened or got
It's
too far,
over.
you're like, well, heck with that. You got a house full of people came over to watch something. You know?
Watch a blank TV.
Yeah, so it was monumental. The technology going to where you could just click and purchase a pay-per-view was like, oh man, we're out of the Stone Ages here. Yeah. When we were kids, we were talking about this the other day. I've got a judge that comes in here, appellate court judge, that Parkinson's program. Being able to FaceTime somebody, that was Johnny Quest, dude.
Yeah.
That Johnny Quest would like FaceTime one of his partners, like, hey Johnny, I need you over here. I'm in trouble. Well, now we do that on our cell phone. Yeah, we're living stuff that we thought would have been just impossible, like from another planet right now.
And I grew up in that weird era where I got to see all the old 80s technology, like all the old 80s tech, not because I'm born in the 80s, but I got to see it because my grandparents still had it, and then just watch it just go from that to the cell phones with the extension antennas that you would just go whack and just whack somebody and welt them with it, and then all of a sudden it's just like boom. I saw like so much change in all the technology.
Like being able to take a picture with your phone, like when the razors came out.
Nothing more dramatic than ending a call with a flip. Just
yeah,
I'm done talking to you.
Yeah, so it is pretty cool getting to see, and I don't know where it's going. I mean, pre-internet, like internet hits mainstream like '93. You go download, like go to a website, and you hit enter, and then you go use the bathroom, fix you something to eat, and maybe it's downloaded by the time you come back. Yeah, it was awful.
Well,
yeah. So any points, y'all?
11-140, I'm coming for you. If you're 11 and you're 140.
Oh, he's calling them out.
Calling them out.
I'm locking in when I'm not sick. I'm locking in practice. I was clowning
He's
around.
nerfed right now.
I want that rematch.
He's sporting
I want
that
that
new.
rematch.
He's sporting that new hoodie there, and it's went to his head. Yeah. Straight to his head. Okay. So yeah, these guys, they're still getting a few match bouts and stuff, and then we're looking at the Summer USA Box. That'll be their first national tournament. This will be this guy's third coming up, and then we'll go from there. It's going to be 2025 is going to be heated. We got all these guys going into the open division now. We've laid the groundwork. Yeah,
It took us a while, but we're all here now.
4 years.
Yeah, we were sitting there tonight. There's 3 guys in the ring. I'm like, okay, they're 30, 35 fights collectively.
That was us 3.
So, yeah, these 3 right here. So, yeah, we're headed that direction.
Well, awesome stuff, guys. Great podcast episode. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see you all next time.